I turned a mistake into a science experiment. And I'm really glad I did. Because I learned that you don't have to cut your grass all summer long. You don't have to water it all summer long. And in the end, it's going to look great. Let me share with you my accidental plan for success. It is now November 10th. I last cut this grass on October 10th. And this grass here, this little band here and this little band here, were not cut since June 10th. No irrigation, no grass cutting, all that savings of time. This grass here is 18 inches, 19 inches tall. This grass that I cut a month ago, 8 to 9 inches tall. I must have saved $600, but I'll go through all the details of the savings here later in the video. But I am just amazed at how this worked out. By the way, all summer long, the grass looked great. It fell over a little bit, but it was green, and actually the length of the grass kept the grass from overheating and burning out. Crazy, I know. It seems counterintuitive. Not maintaining your lawn actually makes it better, thicker. This is the property line between my neighbor's lawn and my lawn. This was cut 3 weeks ago, and this was cut 3 months ago. We're going to measure the difference and just see how it looks. About 6 inches is the highest, maybe 7 on my neighbor's lawn that hasn't been cut for 3 weeks. On my side, maybe 15 inches. A bit of a difference, but the quality of the lawn looks pretty much the same. Quick moisture check on both lawns. I'm at 3 moisture and he's at 2. Here's the neighbor on the other side. This was cut 2 days ago. This was cut 3 months ago. So we're gonna put the moisture meters in there and see how they're doing. 2 on the fresh cut side, 2 on this side. Here we have a situation a little further back in the lot under a tree. That's reading 2. This is reading 3. Last night I crunched through all the bills, predominantly the water, but also the shutoff and the backflow testing. And I'm telling you, I was absolutely stunned by what I learned. So let's go to a top-down shot and get into the details. Last time I turned my irrigation on was in 2021, last year. And the water cycle was approximately daily. Gallons of water used was 54,036. Now that was from the May time frame to the November time frame, just about 180 days in the billing cycle. But I did turn the water on in 2021. I'll post up there how you turn your irrigation system on. So that's why I have a little asterisk. Turning on an irrigation system in my area costs around $100. I don't turn my own irrigation system off, and it costs around $100 to do so. You need high pressure air system, giant tank, which would cost $600–700 or more. I just don't have that right now in my budget, so I just pay $100 to get that done. Backflow test, it's $50. In my area, if you hook up an irrigation system, you're going to have to pay that just as a test to make sure that the water is not going back into the system. And then lawn fertilizer, I pay about $250 throughout the year to fertilize my lawn, take care of crabgrass, all that stuff. So in 2022, I didn't turn on my irrigation system. I didn't hook it up. So here's all the savings. Look at here is what the difference in water usage is. So 54,000. That's water use for 4 to 5 people, daily, showers, cooking. I still think those are pretty high numbers. Didn't have to cut grass, so a big zero there. Now the grass cutting, if you get a lawn service, you'll pay probably somewhere around $36. Went down to $24,064. If you hire somebody or you have kids and you want to pay them, you'll get $10. I cut my own grass, so I save here, but there is some maintenance cost of actually running your lawnmower, your time, wear and tear on the lawnmower itself, sharpening the blade, all that stuff. So $10 is probably a minimum, even if you're doing it yourself. Didn't have to turn off the irrigation, didn't have to do the black flow test. Still had the lawn fertilizer this year. The average means if you're efficient, you're not turning the water on every day. So in this case, I'm saying you turn the water on 80 days. 142 days is basically from the middle of May to the end of October. So 80 days is probably more realistic for most people. Here is the staggering amount of water used for the irrigation system. 29,972 gallons. I didn't think it was anywhere near that. Now I have a professionally installed irrigation system with spray heads, not a drip system, and I'm realizing even if I irrigate next year, I'm going to adjust all the settings to get that number down. Ideally cut it in half, because as soon as you reach a certain threshold, the cost goes up significantly, and rightly so, for water. This is all what we call Tier 1 in my area. This is a combination of Tier 1 and Tier 2 because, as you can see, gallons of water used per irrigation. Now this is kind of a funny one. I took this number here, around 30,000, and I divided it by the number of days that I use the system. If you use the irrigation system more, I was figuring maybe 211 gallons, less 375. But realistically, it's probably somewhere in the middle. So if you take and average those out, you get around 270 gallons per use of the irrigation system. This is treated city water. You could take showers with it, you can drink it, and yet I'm just spraying it on my lawn to keep it green, and to keep my garden green, and to keep my plants nice. But is it really worth it? That's what you gotta ask yourself. I used to live in the Norfolk, Virginia beach area, and people actually had wells that they drilled, but the water had a really high iron content, and what would happen is everything that you sprayed eventually turned brown if you didn't have a filtration system. It's all a trade-off. The water bill, just for the irrigation, turned out to be $188. Now let's get a little bit into the grass cutting. 7 days or 9 days. Most people who get a contract service to cut their grass, they're getting their grass cut every week, whether they like it or not. But if you're doing it on your own, you're probably doing it once every 9 days. There's going to be drier spells. So about 5 inches is what I keep my grass length at. And I mulch my clippings. I don't bag them. But I was amazed how thick the lawn got by just letting it grow out. So grass cutting, if you do it 12 times, $10, it's $120. If you do it for $25 a piece and you do it 12 times, it's $300, so I just put in an average of $200 there. Since this is max, if you're doing it 16 times, it's $160 or $400, worst case. Here's the grand total savings. You only get your grass cut once every 9 days. You're only turning your water on maybe every other day. Right around $640 per year by not cutting your grass and not turning your irrigation system on. But if you like your lawn completely short, manicured all the time, you're watering it every day, whether it needs it or not. I can't tell you how many times I go around the neighborhood, it's pouring down rain, and people have their irrigation system on. You could save $800 or more. Absolutely crazy on the amount of cost and the amount of water that a typical irrigation system uses for a quarter-acre lot. If you live in an arid part of the country like New Mexico, Arizona, parts of California, this number could be significantly more. If you live in upstate New York, where it rains a lot more, temperatures don't get as high, maybe New England, these prices might be significantly less. But you can pretty much guarantee anywhere between $400 and $800 or $1,000 worth of savings by not cutting your grass and not irrigating. Thumbs up and comments always appreciated. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in tests that happen sometimes purely by accident, making and breaking things, designs of all kinds, home repairs, outdoor experiments, gardening. I even do costumes, cosplay, and props. Check out my channel and please subscribe, because you never know how you're going to save money and what kind of crazy experiments you might see.